Well, good evening, everybody. This is Sue, the Soggy Stamper. Rain or shine is stamping time, and today it is a very rainy day. The first rainy day I think we've had here in the Pacific Northwest in probably, since June at least. So it's a welcome day of rain. Everything has gotten pretty dry. And I am excited to share with you tonight the Regal Winter collection of products that are in the new September through December mini catalog. And so let's just get busy. The card we're going to make today is this card, Wishing I Were There to Give You a Hug. And the stamp set that comes with this is Regal Flora. I had hesitated to buy it because I have quite a few flower stamps, but this particular one, what caught my eye and made me decide to get it is Wishing I Were There to Give You a Hug. That is a sentiment that I will use often. My family is scattered all over the United States, and so this is a very useful one for me. Another one is Sending Love Your Way, like that. Then there's Thanks, and there's Missing You, plus flowers and some leaves. It coordinates with this die set, and this is another reason why I was attracted to it. I just love the shape of this die. Excuse me. It's a nice label die, and the greetings fit in there very nicely. That one, you can use that one too. And then the leaves, then there are dies to cut out. The stamped images. Like that. Even this cute little one. And that one. So anything you stamp, pretty much you can cut out. There's a little speckled thing like this. And there is a very interesting die in this set. It's this one. And it does cut out on all the way around. There's no image for it. So I kind of wondered what it was. And I used it, I die cut it out of some designer series paper. And it is this kind of, it's like flowers. And so if you were to cut it out of white, die cut it out of white, then you could color your flowers and your leaves. Anyway, very interesting die that comes in with the set. Also with the collection are these Regal foiled adhesive back ones. Have the colors of the collection are Cherry Cobbler, Pretty Peacock, Berry Burst, and something spruce. Can't think of the word all of a sudden. Anyway, so there's the embellishments that go in the set. Shaded spruce, that's it. Also, is this beautiful Blackberry Bliss with gold edge ribbon. It's somewhat sheer. Doesn't show up too much this way, but it's kind of sheer. You can see through it. It's got some texture to it. And then the designer series papers are astounding. There's this one, and there's two that are very similar with their design. And at first I thought they had actually given us two of the same design. But it's the coloring that is different. Because, you see, let's see if I can set them up. positions are kind of this similar, but this has a blackberry bliss flowers here, whereas these are the cherry cobbler flowers. So you see the difference in the big clusters. The backs, this one is a Night of Navy, and this is cherry cobbler backing for those. So you can kind of tell the difference. Then there's this one. In the back of that is the Blackberry Bliss. This one has similar flower pattern, but this was Blackberry Bliss, and it has the pretty peacock in the back. This one has cherry cobbler with, I think, a Blackberry Bliss background, maybe. And then it has wild wheat. And then we have the wild wheat floral with the background being the pretty peacock. So those are the designer series papers. It also includes these Regal distressed papers. Now, these are single-sided. And a white, and then a cherry cobbler, like that. And you can see the distressing, and they're gold embossed. And that is what the collection is. Like I say, it's going to be available the 3rd of September when the new mini catalog goes live. Now, I could not stop playing with this set. I just really fell in love with it. So I showed you this one. That's this die. And I used Blackberry Bliss. And then this is the Summer Splash. I embossed it with the eyelet embossing folder. And the thing about this card that I thought would be really cool is to mimic the corners of the label. So I used a corner punch. It isn't quite the same. You can see better on here. See, it's not quite as broad a corner. But I could not figure any way to use the die to actually cut the corner without getting impressions on the rest of the card. Anyway, so there's this one. This is using the ribbon. Then when you die cut this, you also end up with a very thin frame, just a frame from around the outside. So I didn't want to waste those, so I created this one. And I used for this card another part of another group. This is called Peaceful Season, and it has a wonderful series of greetings and the dies that go along with it. This one would be a background behind the Merry Christmas. A couple of lovely little dies here. And this is part of a larger collection. There's 2 sets. There's this one and the dies, and then there is a Christmas tree one, an evergreen tree one, with gorgeous papers for that too. So anyway, so these 2 cards, and then I have a couple more cards I want to share. Doesn't have to be just Christmas. The actual set doesn't say a thing about Christmas. So you could use it as a spring one. Wishing I were there to give you a hug. Pardon the barking dog. That's part of our life, and I guess I can't avoid it. So then, let's get started on this card. The card base is Berry Burst. I haven't used it very much because it's a rather strong color for my tastes. But the way it worked out, I am absolutely delighted with. And then this strip, this is 5.5 by 3. When I get designer series paper, I cut a strip of 3 inches off one side and have a 3-inch square that I do in half, and then on the back of the card, and then I have so you can see both sides. Let me show you. Like this, so that you can see both sides. You can just look at this and go, oh, I want that and that. And on this one, I put glue on the wrong side, so I folded it over so you could see. I thought that was kind of cool. I probably will use it on a card. It was a mistake, one of those happy mistakes. I keep my designer series papers in these files, folders. Keeps them nice and straight and not crumpled. Okay, so this is 5.5 by 3. I think I'm out. Used up all that seal. Okay, and then I have, out of this, I die cut. I thought I had all my supplies laid out already. Sorry about that. This is the... No, that's not the reverse side. That's the reverse side of this. This is the green, like that. Need to cut down a piece. About wide enough for my die. cut out one of the labels with this. And see how you have that edge that's left. There's the die. On this card, I had a white rim, so I die cut the designer series paper, and then just laid this inside like that. So you get these extras. Now let's stamp the greeting using shaded spruce ink. And if you stamp first and then die cut, you don't have to worry about whether it's straight. Oh, I'm going to have to trim this down. I didn't want to have to run it through this. No, it wouldn't have gone through that way anyway. Okay, so now I'm going to have to hold this in place, the die, to make sure it's straight. That looks good. Running 3 things through the die cutting machine, I think, should qualify for weightlifting, muscle strength, isometric exercises, because you have to sometimes really crank hard. Well, I hope that peels off the label better. You have to go gently. There we go. Put this back. This does not look quite straight. Okay, so what I did was I layered it like this. Put a little bit of snail on here. Not snail, seal. 22 years of calling it snail, or almost 22 years. Makes it hard to break the habit. Okay, and I'll put that down here. Since I mail most of my cards, I don't usually use Stampin' Dimensionals because I want to keep them as flat as possible. We'll stick that in the corner there. Now I already had cut, stamped the leaf and the flower and die cut it. And on this card, I used the this die, and I had used it for this thing here, But I decided that maybe the pink would be a nice change. So I'm going to put the pink in there. That's what's lovely about being your own designer. You can do it any way you think looks good. Okay, we'll pop it up with some Stampin' Dimensionals, or pieces of them. I like using pieces, using up all the material. I used to cut these, but you can really tear them pretty easily. Two. Like that. Finish it off with one of the pretty Berry Burst dies in the corner, or gems. Come on. This one really wants to stick to the backing. There we go. And this time, I'm going to put them on the flowers because they'll show up. Give a little more definition to these flowers. Okay, there you go. Has some bling, has the flowers, and wishing I were there to give you a hug. On the inside, a 4" by 5 1/4" piece of white cardstock, so that you can write and it'd be easier to read. And you have yourself a lovely thinking of you type card. So this is the Regal Winter Collection, and if you'd like to buy it, you can get it starting September 3rd from the new mini catalog. If you don't have a catalog and you don't have a demonstrator but live in the United States, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Just email me, sue@soggystamper.com, with your address, mailing address, and a phone number so I can check up with you to see if there's any ways I can help you. And I'll be happy to send you a catalog. My online store is creationsbysue.stampinup.net. That's a lot to remember. So if you go to my blog, soggystamper.com, up along the top there is a button to push to be taken to my online store. I'll put this directions up on the blog, and this video will be up on my YouTube channel, The Soggy Stamper, hopefully tonight. So thanks for watching, and have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you again next Friday night at 7 o'clock with another fabulous Facebook Live. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.